Welcome to Book Time with Ryan. I am Ryan, clever boys and girls. It sounds a little creepy? Yes, it does. When you say boys and girls, it's not just clever girl. Today, I am talking about Michael Crichton's The Lost World. This book has both Jurassic Park and The Lost World. I have read this book, the first half of this book, before and did a review, so check out my review of Jurassic Park. The Lost World is from 1995. It was written 5 years after Jurassic Park. I guess I can confirm that. Yeah. Written 5 years after Jurassic Park. Obviously, a couple years after the movie came out. And I don't remember when The Lost World came out as a movie. Also, when you're looking up The Lost World for thumbnail ideas, there are a lot of other movies called The Lost World or Lost World. I think that the movie was actually called Jurassic Park: The Lost World. But the book is just The Lost World. So no confusion there, hopefully. I am going to do my best not to talk about differences between the book and the movie. That's going to be a separate video that I will do, because there are a lot of differences. So I'm just going to try to give you an idea of what The Lost World was about. In your mind, you might be thinking, that's not what the movie was like. And you're right, but we're going to try not to talk about it here. I'm dressed in something that kind of feels like I'm going on a safari. I'm here with, I think this is a Diplodocus, maybe, and a Brachiosaur, which I love. We call this one Big Mama. I got this for my daughter. And we were watching Paw Patrol at the time, and there was kind of a spin-off of Paw Patrol where they go to this dinosaur area, and there was a big brachiosaur that they called Big Mama. So that's her or his name. I don't know the difference. They don't have reproductive organs in these toys. And then I got this later. So I went with the herbivores. I didn't want to have a carnivore today. It's just too dangerous. Too dangerous. So this is what we got. And it does feel a little dangerous in here, even though they're small and fake. And it feels like Jurassic Park, because I've got a megalodon tooth that's fossilized here. I've got the Nashville Predators symbol here, and then I've got my two dinosaur friends. All right, Jurassic Park. The main characters, the absolute main character that you're going to see from Jurassic Park is Ian Malcolm. He's back. He's the main character. We're also going to have two kids, Arby and Kelly. They're two kids, like young kids, early teens. 10 years old, early teens, very smart brainers, who have gotten involved with a scientist, a paleontologist who was kind of close with Ian Malcolm. They had a falling out. They both worked at the Santa Fe Institute, and his name is Richard Levine. Richard Levine is trying to find out if there's a lost world. He's doing it in a secretive way. He thinks he's being followed. And he's using these two kids, Arby and Kelly, to help him. He basically got in trouble for speeding in his Ferrari, and part of his, I don't know if it was suspended sentence or what, was to work at a school, provide lessons at the school. So he used these two kids. They're very smart. They are going to be very important. You also have, you got Dr. Thorne. Dr. Thorne is a smart former professor who decided that he really rather do stuff instead of teach stuff. So he created a company that really outfits vehicles with, or supplies field work vehicles. And he is supplying Levin, who is independently wealthy, with a trailer, a two-piece trailer, and a Ford Explorer that are reinforced for field experiments. Really reinforced. Think of like the things you see in the movie. I know I'm trying not to do that, but the trailer in the movie, it's kind of what I pictured and what was described. Now, those are the main characters. There is a bad guy, Dodson, which he was in Jurassic Park, and he was in the movie. He works for a company called Biosyn, and he basically works on kind of espionage for the company, try to steal the secrets from other companies. He was in the movie. He was the one that gave Dennis Nedry the shaving kit thing that would hold the vials of embryos. He's minor in the movies. I don't even think he makes a comeback in the Lost World movie. But he is a factor in this book. He's kind of the bad guy. In the first half of The Lost World, he kind of comes in and out. There's references to him. They do have some interaction at the very end. But I think the best, and there are other characters here, there's just so many characters. Some of them die. So actually, the ones that I'm skipping are dead. But Dodson came with 2 other people. I think the coolest character is Sarah Harding, and she is really the badass who is the hero. There are a number of heroes in this book, but she is very cool, and she usually works in Africa. She is, I think, like a field biologist. She deals with hyenas and predators, carnivores, on the African plains or whatever. She had a relationship with Ian Malcolm, and when she finds out that Ian might be in trouble, she comes back from Africa to try to help him. She's a little bit younger. She's fit, she's attractive, smart, and she gets shit done. She's also Kelly, one of the kids, Kelly's kind of hero. All right, so what we have is a discussion on extinction. And Ian Malcolm is talking about chaos theory, which is now called like complexity theory or something. At the very beginning of the book, Levine, who's this new kind of impetuous staff member, asks, well, what about a lost world? They have this discussion. And this is about 4 years, I think, after the end of Jurassic Park. Surprisingly, a lot of that information hasn't gotten out. What has gotten out is some of the dinosaurs have washed up in Costa Rica, and they're creating quite a problem. There's also an outbreak of encephalitis, and they think that may be related, but they're not sure. So there's all these rumors of these strange lizards that are washing up, but the government is trying to get rid of them quickly so it doesn't affect tourism. We speed up. So we have this kind of moment where they're talking about extinction, and then they kind of go their separate ways, and it speeds up a little bit. Sarah's there, Ian's there, Levin's there, and then Sarah goes back to Africa, Ian's doing his thing, and Levin goes off and does his thing. Well, we move up a year, maybe a year and a half, and Levin has taken not the bait, I guess, but he really wants to find out, is there this lost world? He has heard small rumors about InGen and what happened. InGen's gone into bankruptcy. They've liquidated everything, but the problem is there's this rumor that there was a second island, and there was. Spoiler, there is a second island. It's a private island. Levine is having Thorne build some vehicles so he can go down. He's been working with Ian a little bit. He's been working with Sarah a little bit. Really, Levine's just been kind of annoying them with questions and stuff, but they don't exactly know what he's doing. And then he finds a sample. He finds a dead animal on a beach. He takes a sample. There's like a tag, like a tag in the skin. He takes that and sends it off to Ian. Ian has it analyzed. I think it's San Diego Zoo, maybe something like that, some zoo, and it's clear that there are dinosaurs still out there, that they haven't all been destroyed on Isle Nublar, but there must be something else out there. So Ian is helping out Levin, but Levin decides he needs to go down and find out stuff on his own. Don't do that. I don't like he suspects they're dinosaurs, but somehow I don't know if there's NDA or maybe it was part of settlements that no one could talk about it. It seems like it would have leaked out a lot more than it has in this book. For the most part, people don't realize there are dinosaurs here. Levin gets stuck. He goes down with a guide, and then his guide is killed, and he has a satellite phone. This is 1995. I have used satellite phones. We had one on my ship that was really used for talking with families if there was some kind of death in the family or a birth or whatever. Very expensive to use. Big old chunky phones. This is 10 years before that, so these were big, heavy, expensive things. Didn't always work great, but he took that. So eventually he gets in touch with somebody. He's like, I'm in trouble. Or they got in touch with him, I guess. I think it was Thorne, actually, because the kids were waiting for Levin to come in and talk to them at their school, and he didn't show up, and they knew that that was not normal because they've been working with him. So they go to Thorne. Thorne tries to get in touch with them, and they have a broken call where it's clear that he's in trouble. Thorne tells Ian Malcolm. They decide they're all going to go down. The vehicles that Thorne's been working on, they're basically done, but they haven't been tested. And then they also reach out to Sarah, and they tell her that somebody's in trouble and Ian's going down. And she's like, I will come back and help. At this point, Biosyn knows that something's happening, and they want to get their hands on whatever InGen was working on, and they've been spying on Thorne, and they don't know the kids are working for him, but Levin and Malcolm, Sarah, kind of, she's off in Africa, so they just know she's there. So they also decide they need to go off and figure out what's going on, go off to the island. And then we have the island scenes. Sarah shows up a little bit later. She's almost killed by Biosyn people who came on the boat. There's only 3 of the Biosyn group. Sarah trusts them. She doesn't know about the dinosaurs, but she knows that when she had a relationship with Ian, there was something that he wasn't saying. So we get to the island. Now, I think my feeling was people need to be a little more open. If you're going to an island with dinosaurs, you need to talk about it before you get there. You need to talk about it. You need to say what the dangers are. And if I was in an area with dinosaurs, I would be much less likely to be like, let's run around and get away from any kind of structure that could protect us. But the hope here is that they wind up finding Levin. He's okay. He's been observing the dinosaurs. Ian sees this as a great opportunity to also observe dinosaurs and see if they can figure out some of the behaviors that led to the extinction, because they have all these theories about extinction. They want to see what happened. They also want to find out why this structure is still there and what went on, that kind of stuff. And there's a whole kind of town for the workers that's been left that they can look through the facilities and power up the computers. They do have power because it's geothermal based, and this is on a volcanic island. And then shit really goes downhill. There's a number of predators. Raptors, velociraptors are here. Velociraptors feel they fail quite a bit in hunting. There's more of a discussion on the defensive tactics of herbivores, which is very cool. Like dinosaurs going to a rosette, like a flower pattern to protect the more vulnerable, something that sperm whales do now. This was about Triceratops doing that to protect the young from these velociraptors, which tried to attack and were successfully defended. There's like carnosaurs or something, which you find out at the very end. They're pretty minor, but they can change colors like chameleons. They have a territory. And then, of course, T-Rex. A mommy and a daddy T-Rex and babies. A couple babies and eggs. They're trying to observe. They run into some problems. Some people die. I think what really ends up being the major problem is you have the Dodson contingent come and they're trying to take eggs and hurt one of the T-Rex babies, which is brought back to, there's one of the guys working for Thorne, his name's Eddie. He's good, he's a good guy, but he wants to help this baby Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the scientists are kind of like, well, kill him, kill the baby, it's put him out of his misery. He's not going to be able to live with this kind of injury. Well, he brings him back to the trailer, and from there attracts T-Rex, both of them, mommy and daddy. They also have the hi-hi, this kind of basket that they've put up in a tree, next to a tree. That's in the movie. It's only 20 feet or so high in the book, which I kind of feel like, based on the size of the dinosaurs, it's like a dinner plate. Like, it's like, here, let me make it more convenient for you. But a lot of the observation goes on from there. And we slowly lose our characters. People die. We have trailers being pushed over the edge. Malcolm gets hurt again. We have some characters that were attacked by compies. There are some characters who were killed by velociraptors. We kind of have like a 2-day span where they're waiting to get picked up with the helicopters and trying to survive during that time. And the helicopter comes back to pick them up, doesn't see them, flies away, and they eventually have to find their way to a boat to get out of there. We've lost a number of characters. The big hero is Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding jumps on motorcycles. She's going around helping the kids. The kids are not liabilities either. They're super assets. They have saved so many lives in this book. Eventually they get to the boat. And that's how it ends. They get to a boat because there's a little boat facility, a boathouse, and they leave. That's it. I am so tempted to compare it to the movie, because if you watch the movie, eventually dinosaurs come to San Diego. I don't know where that came from. I saw the trailer for the movie. I am going to watch the movie and do the review. I did that for Jurassic Park. I watched the trailer and it says based on the book by Michael Crichton. And I was like, how are they, what is this based on? It's tangentially related. There's dinosaurs on an island, a second island. I found Ian Malcolm to be a likable character, not as central to the story as, well, he was central to the story, but as far as the survival on the island, I think a lot of that comes down to Sarah Harding. I mean, they all have their important parts, but Sarah Harding really saves the day. Dodson's not coming back. I don't think there's a third book, right? I don't think so. Maybe. If there is, I'm going to read it, but I don't think there is. At least not by Michael Crichton. There were references to like lysine. There was this whole story in Jurassic Park about how they were made lysine deficient, and that way they wouldn't escape, and if they did, they had to get lysine, soybean stuff. But I felt like that wasn't really the discussion in this book. So I don't know if they had some issues with disease on the island. The island was really the factory to make the dinosaurs, because their success rate was much lower than what they were presenting on Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, it seemed like everything was going sweet, but the reality was they were kind of producing dinosaurs off assembly line, and if 1 out of 1,000 lived, that was great. They didn't want to show the public we're having all these failures, but they were. So that was kind of a difference. I thought it was cool. I liked it. I liked the book. It's dated 1995. There are things that you kind of take for granted now that you didn't have, including security systems for networks, but I really liked it. This is my copy. You can see that the red has kind of bled into the white. What I was finding was if my hands were wet, sweaty, whatever, if I washed them before I was reading, they would get red on my fingers and eventually onto the pages, and it was obviously bleeding into the white of the book on both sides and the spine. But I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. I can't wait to watch the movie. I did not like the movie as much as I did Jurassic Park, the movie, which I thought was a classic and was a date movie in 3rd grade or 4th grade, between 3rd and 4th grade. Kind of date. Watch the video. I talk about that, I think, briefly. I don't remember much about watching The Lost World as a movie. I'll just say this about the movies. And I'm a little worried about there's going to be a sequel to Twister, which was a Michael Crichton movie. I didn't know that. I read at the back of this book. Michael Crichton worked on Twister. So during the Super Bowl, we saw there's going to be a Twister sequel or something. Tornadoes are scary. Like, I've been in a tornado. They're scary. You don't need to make them more scary by making really unrealistic stuff. They're scary. Just give us scenes where they're coming out of nowhere in the dark at a movie theater, and I will freak out, kind of. Not as a 40-year-old. Dinosaurs are awesome. I'm 40. I have 2 dinosaur toys with me for this video. Yeah, I got this for my daughter, but guess who played with it most? Me. I love this thing. Look, head moves. He's giant. It's giant. You can't even tell how big this thing is. Look how big this is. It's awesome. It's huge. Yeah, I got it for my daughter. I played with it. So, dinosaurs are very, 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 very cool. You do not need to make fake dinosaurs, like hybrids, to keep a movie about dinosaurs interesting. Give us real dinosaurs, but a variety of real dinosaurs. That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't need to make up fake dinosaurs and make them more human-like, or just give us dinosaurs that actually existed, recreated for the movie, doing what they do. Because I guarantee you, if you throw me in the middle of a dinosaur world, I don't know how long I would survive. And they don't have to be mutant dinosaurs that have been genetically altered. They can just be the regular old dinosaurs. That's kind of the annoyance I have with the Jurassic Park series of movies, besides the first one, is you keep going. I think even Malcolm says they always have to go bigger. You always have to make it bigger, or something like that. Maybe Grant said that. Somebody said it, but it's like, yeah, you don't have to. Don't do that. Just make them regular dinosaurs. That's enough. That's enough for us. We love dinosaurs. None of us have seen the real dinosaur alive. To mix dinosaurs and humans, interesting enough. That's it. Thanks for joining me today, talking about The Lost World, Michael Crichton. Stay tuned for my review, comparison, whatever you want to call it, of Jurassic Park, The Lost World, the movie and the book, because they are very different. That's it. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.